Goosebumps Series 2000 is a notorious Goosebumps series for having some decent lows, but mostly high highs, with obviously amped up scares compared to the original Goosebumps series, and was the second mainline series for about 2 years. A little over, actually, because it made it into January 2000 with its final book, Book 25, Ghosts in the Mirror. However, that wasn't supposed to be the final book, but thanks to a lawsuit at the time between Parachute Press and Scholastic, it ended. Goosebumps ended in February of 2000 with the final GYG book releasing then. And it's sad, you know. I wish Goosebumps continued on in that era because we could have gotten some great books for all we know. And I wish we got Goosebumps Gold, even if that didn't happen. But, of course, that was just, you know, not on the card, sadly. They couldn't get the rights to do it, apparently. But Series 2000 was supposed to continue. It was actually supposed to have 40 books, and we only got 25 of those 40, leaving 15 unpublished. Technically, 14. Book 26 was supposed to be The Incredible Shrinking Fifth Grader, which we have a cover art for. We have a mock-up done by Goosebumps Completionist, which I have used on the thumbnail of this video. And we also have, well, the story. It came out. Yeah, but not in the way you think. The Adventures of Shrink Man. It was repurposed for this book, as confirmed by Stein on Twitter a few years back. So yeah, this is the story that was for that book. And but we said that none of the other novellas of that little 6-novella run are for that series. Some people still believe so, and I do too. And I will be bringing one up. Only one, because the others are either triple R stories or debunked. So why do I make a video? Because we all know this stuff. Well, there's still 14 and still 26, but we're supposed to be Series 2000 stories, and they just never happened. But what if they did? Here I'm making a hypothesis. Yeah, I'm making a theory. Now, this isn't anything set in stone, and 14 of the titles are never, were never supposed to be real titles, or at least there's no genuine evidence aside from that, just educated guesses of what could have come out, based on time periods, Stein's track record, and, sequels that were likely to happen. There's going to be a few sequels here. And based off pre-existing titles and books that were confirmed to have almost happened at some point, like Goosebumps Gold stories. Yes, I'll bring 2 up in here. But, yeah, I'm going to be naming and plotting a little bit and even giving you some cover ideas for the 15 unreleased Series 2000 stories. Yeah, this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while because I thought it was really interesting how Series 2000 was supposed to be almost twice as long, about 10 off, so not quite almost, but it was getting there. It was supposed to be a lot longer than the initial 25 that we did get at the end of the day. And even though we never got those final 15, I'm still thankful for Series 2000 getting as far as it did, because, it was not exactly an extreme bestseller. It was still sold well enough, though, to continue on, but of course, the lawsuit killed it off. So yeah, let's just dive in, starting off with the one we already threw out. The Adventures of Shrink Man, which is 2026. There's nothing to be said. This would have come out in February. And yeah, read the story. It's actually quite good if you can get your hands on this, which shouldn't be too hard. You can get it for like just a few bucks on eBay or Amazon, I think. And I think there might be an audiobook out there. I mean, digitally, I own one because they actually made audiobooks for the novellas. So if you want, maybe you can try and dig that up somewhere. People have dug up audiobooks online. And now for book 27, I mean, it's supposed to be called When the Snake Bites. That's really all we know about this title. In case you didn't know, yeah, Series 2027 had a title, When the Snake Bites. Just never came out, of course. This would have released in March, I mean, no shit, of 2000, and it just never happened. And I think the cover art could have been reminiscent of a pre-existing art, but not a cover, found in all places, not the cover of this book, within Screams of the Night. Because there's actually art in here that's never been released, simply because there's just no PDFs. I mean, you can look at it, it looks better in real life, so I genuinely recommend getting the book either way, it's good. But Screams of the Night has a full image of a giant snake. Yeah, it's one of the most awesome little art pieces here. I mean, hell yeah! It reminds me of Body Squeezers, where it takes 2 pages. Of course, that takes 2 covers. Of course, this wouldn't be good as a single cover. Like, what the hell? Tentacles? Oh, that looks good. Yeah. I think it looks something like that. That looks awesome, doesn't it? That could be the cover When the Snake Bites. As for what it been about, I mean, obviously snakes, but I think it could be something similar to The Fly, of all things. Not like, literally, the exact plot, but obviously, when it comes to the body horror, I think the main character would be turning into a humanoid snake creature, kind of like Jake the Snake from Are You Afraid of the Dark? I will bring this up again. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Funny enough. But yeah, I think it'd been something similar to that. Of course, not directly in that plot, just with the body horror elements, and I think it had something to do with maybe a main character getting bitten by a snake, or something of that sort. But yeah, moving on. It even could have been a puberty story. Maybe their parents were snakes. Pull a whole Wizard of Oz there. Book 27 would have been When the Snake Bites, and that's my little idea there. But what about book 28? This would have come out in April of 2000, and I think this book could have been about vampires. There is nothing suggesting it. It's just Stein's track record. He likes to do books that are based off, universal monsters. He's never touched Frankenstein, I don't think, at least. I mean, he did Frankenstein's dog, but that really was a lie. It's not really. But, he's done everything. He's done robots, he's done vampires, zombies, goblins even, mummies, ghosts, all of the creatures of the night. Especially werewolves, too. He loves his werewolf stories. And ghosts. But vampires, it's something he hasn't touched too much, and I think it'd be cool if he touched it here. It's just a nice book to drop in April. As for the plot, I think it'd been something, once again, Are You Afraid of the Dark-esque, like Tale of the Dark music. I think it could be about a vampire living in someone's basement, and this kid lures kids down there to become vampires, like his enemies. Only it goes south, or maybe he starts feeling guilty, and of course to be a turnaround, he unvampires his vampires, and they defeat the vampire dude. Could be a manipulation-esque story, or maybe it has some underlying themes of that. And for the cover art, I think it could have been something like Scream School, only it's the vampire, and he's looking back at you, maybe reaching out like, ugh. And maybe he's sitting in his coffin, though that would be too similar to Vampire Breath. Maybe he's sitting in a tub. I don't know. Something goofy that would make sense being in a basement. So yeah, that's my idea. And also, forgot, the title. What would I title this story? Well, Face Full of Fangs. It's stupid, but I think it works as it's just a catchy title. Face Full of Fangs. Face Full of Fangs. Not full of, just so you'll know. I'm leaving all the titles that I've come up with or pre-exist, like the first two, in the description, and of course some titles that Stein has used before, or wants to use. So yeah, those are in the description, all 15. Now moving on to book 29. This one doesn't have a lot of evidence behind it, but I decided to go with 43 Freakout Street. Yes, this is a pre-existing Stein title, but he said he wanted to use. And, I threw it in here. It's kind of one of those books where it's like, not really themed around the time of year, it just takes place in May. Maybe it could be an out-of-school story, though. My idea, simply for this story, is urban legend. Something involving a haunted house. But I feel like if we were to go this route, it could have something to do with maybe, something more that meets the eye of this house. Obviously, something's gonna happen in this house. But I'm thinking maybe a portal can open up to another realm, kind of like, as dumb as it is, The Haunter. We could do that plot. The Haunter before the Haunter, or maybe it's just a notorious haunted house that turns out maybe it is haunted. This could be a basic story or a really interesting story of deeper concepts. But either way, 43 Freakout Street, amazing title, and I love to see this get used. And for a cover art, I think it's pretty simple or self-explanatory. Monster House, Escape from Horror House did that, and I think this should do it as well. Give Jacobus his chance to make a living house, let alone return to a dead house style. That'd be pretty cool. And it's not unlike Goosebumps to do covers basically twice. Just look at Give Yourself Goosebumps. Danger Time and TikTok You're Dead are basically the same cover, but just done by a different artist, so. But yeah, now for book 30. This would have dropped in June, so this would be a summer book. I've taken that theme seriously because I actually picked a summer story that already exists. And here's our other novella, Creatures from Beyond Beyond. I'm just dead set that this was a fucking Goosebumps story. Like, I would be shocked if it wasn't. Watch this age horribly, and it's like some lost R.L. Stein media. But I really think that this is a Series 1000 story that was never released. It was one Stein was working on 6 months in advance, say. He could have been making this in December, if going off by that logic, or maybe in January around that time. before, his contract completely ran out by February. Either way, this would have been awesome, because I love this story. It's a great story about aliens, clearly. I think it would have been really nice, and for the cover art of Creatures from Beyond, I think would keep the title. It's a really good title. The cover art's really iffy, because, I don't want it to use Screams in the Night here, because if you haven't noticed, damn it, I'm holding wrong. Yeah, they reused the art, basically saying it's a Goosebumps story without saying it's a Goosebumps story. I think it would be really cool if we kept that idea, just, didn't completely reuse this. Maybe even get rid of the moon. My most liked idea is a door creaking open, because there is a door prominently in the story. Behind it is some stuff in an attic, like space. And maybe a lizard's claws is reaching under the door trying to get out. It's not really reminiscent of the actual story, but it's still intriguing enough to get you reading it. I'd love to see Jacobus do that type of art. Besides, he's drawn creepy doors. He did something with a trap door a few years ago, actually. Now for our July story, we have a sequel, baby! Our first sequel of the video. Now, what sequel is this? Well, if we look at Return to Horrorland, some of you might already know what I'm talking about now. That was made because of the PC game, Escape from Horrorland. Now, what if we got another one for a PC game that also came out not too far after the Horrorland one? Well, look no further than the Attack the Mutant PC game. So yeah, Attack of the Mutant sequel. I'm not even kidding. That would have been awesome. I don't want one nowadays, because I feel like if we did a direct sequel at least, that would be stupid. Direct sequel now? No, but back in the day, I think that could have been a direct sequel. Return to Horrorland already did it, so why not do it again? Without the plot amnesia, please. But still, it could have been titled The Mutant Strikes. And honestly, for plot, I have no idea. Just bring back Elastic Boy. Maybe don't make him the main character. Maybe make him a side character. And of course, Mutant obviously returns. It's called The Mutant Strikes. He's got to be in it. So, I'm not really sure. That's really up to you guys. But cover art, pretty simple. That's just the mutant doing that, or maybe lunging at you. He's already lunging in the original cover, leaving a space for a flight. Just do a similar thing, just full by the mutant going. I don't know, something cool like that. A cool pose just of the mutants. Could be in a void, could be in a street. Under a street lamp would be cool. Who knows? Who knows? And now for our next book, our August release of 2000. And this would have been book, I believe, 32. This is a weird one. This is a back-to-school story. And Goosebumps is notorious. They've done a lot of these. Creature Teacher 2, The Final Exam. Zombie School, Why I Quit Zombie School. Ghoul School. Too many to count, honestly. They've done a lot of school-related stories. One of my all-time faves is a school story, Haunted School, though weekly. It's just more of a setting, if anything. So for this one, I decided to take a few liberties, because obviously this is not set in stone. It's going to be a zombie school story, but it's going to be very different from what you're expecting. I call it Undead Elementary, mostly as a, fun title. So I'd call it Undead Elementary. It's not a great title. I'm actually not too fond of it, but it was the only thing I could really think of. And I've actually gone off Simon Says Croak. Now, some of you might be saying, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, it's actually a kid's horror book from the 90s, from Spine Tinglers. It's actually the 6th one. I read it recently, and I was like, kid in a basement. Pretty creepy ghost kid. That could be a good story. It was done shittily there. Or rather, mid-leagues. It was a very mid-book. But I think Stein kind of took a little inspiration from there, or did his own version of that by accident. It's happened before, I think. Now, it'd be really nice to see what he could cook there, except instead of it being a ghost boy, it's a zombie. And I'm thinking maybe the zombie could be down there for so long, because it's in, like, I don't know, a freezer, where they store all the lunch food. Something stupid, alright? Just something stupid. I love that. I love that, and then it kind of be like another Tale of the Dark Music scenario, or something of the sort. Whatever happens, chaos unfolds because of this zombie maybe getting out because the main character discovers it one day, sneaking down there, maybe for a day or something. Who knows? Maybe it's a legend. Who knows? Who really knows? But yeah, that would be my August pick for 2000. And this next one, my birth month pick, September of 2000. I wasn't born in 2000. I'm not that old. Now, this one is actually a pre-existing title, but I really don't know what to think of this. Morons from Mars. I want to see it. Alright, I want to see it because I think it's a really cool title, and I think I love aliens most of the time in Goosebumps. There's some bad books, but I love aliens and Goosebumps overall. And I like to see another one. I mean, there's still more to come, sort of, at least when it comes to sci-fi elements. This one, I think, could have been basically reverse brain juice. Maybe these aliens are turning people stupid, or making them gullible in a way, make them really dumb. And it could be for a personal reason, or, you know, a universal reason, who knows. Some big reason why they're doing this. And, of course, the main character is to stop them. Oh, no. Yeah, simple story. As to the cover art, don't even ask me. Morons from Mars, cover art. What do you think of? Morons? The only thing I could think of was something happening on Mars. Maybe it's the aliens, but that would make much sense. Or maybe it's just some kind of joke relating to it. Maybe I have no clue. I really don't know what to do for a cover art. I couldn't think of a damn thing besides possibly taking place on Mars. Maybe Earth in the sky. I don't really know what to do there. So that's really up to you guys. Think of a great cover for Morons from Mars. And now moving on to a really juicy idea. The Haunted Mask Lives for October of 2000. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Why wouldn't we want this? I mean, we love The Haunted Mask. The Haunted Mask did 2 good sequels in a row. An okay sequel, which was Scream The Haunted Mask at Retcon 2. And a banger 4th entry. And also a great remake. And 2 awesome 90s show episodes and a mixed 2023 episode. Relatively not liked. But I think this, and a lot of people still want it to happen, The Haunted Mask Lives would have been great. And it has already been debunked that it wasn't even Scream the Haunted Mask, but we're ignoring that. We're pretending that Most Wanted, Hall of Horrors, Horrorland, Slappy World, House of Shivers, IDW Comics, they don't exist right now. We're pretending we're in the time zones of these books releasing. So, time zones? No, time periods. Anyways, I think it should have done the same cover art with the ripped Haunted Mask, which is fucking beautiful. Not one of my personal favorites. I like the Holidays from Deadhouse one more, but it still looks really good nonetheless. It's a very nice piece of art. And for the story, who knows? Just Haunted Mask free, I think, would have been simple enough. But I actually would have liked to see some other take at the Haunted Mask. Of course, the Haunted Mask 1 was about a symbol of love. Haunted Mask 2 was still about a symbol of love. I think this one might have some deviation. Maybe it can invent some new mechanics while still bringing back the original mask. Maybe it has a new set of rules. Who knows? Just and reinvent the formula a little, because we don't want to see it too many times, because I'm pretty sure it would have gotten old. But either way, Haunted Mask Lives, perfect choice for that time period. I would have loved to see that. And now for November of 2000, this is the first ever Thanksgiving themed story. There's no evidence to say Simon would ever do one, but he hasn't. Well, at least your Goosebumps. But here we are. Feeding Frenzy. Now, my friend Completionist already talked about this. He's talked about a lot of these already used titles, because this is an already pre-existing title that Stein wants to use, but he's never used for a book yet. He said, my friend Comp said he thinks this could be a Thanksgiving story, I believe. And I completely agree. This would be a great Thanksgiving story, as terms of plot maybe involves cannibalism. Or at least hints of it. Maybe some person's family turned out to be more meets the eye. They're not humans, maybe. Maybe they're wild animals. Maybe they like live feeding. I don't know. Something creepy and something genuinely worth raising the stakes for and stopping or putting an end to. Maybe your family is the menu and maybe you're being eaten by aliens. I don't know. Make it crazy, Stein. I know you can cook with that title because it's a pretty cool title. Feeding Frenzy. As for the title or cover, I think it has something to do with whatever these people are. Maybe they're like lizard people, if we're assuming they're the ones eating, or if they're being eaten. I think it'd have been really stupid. But maybe do a chicken sequel cover. Jacobus. Put someone's head on a turkey. I don't fucking know. A baked turkey. Maybe do baked limbs. Ooh, a pot of baked limbs. That'd have been great. Or a stew with maybe people parts in it. Well, vague enough. Or a stew of eyes. That would have been perfect, just subtle enough to be like, well, this is scary. This looks like point horror at this point. Of course, don't go too far. We don't want blood and gore. We want just subtle, really scary shit. And now, for our December of 2000, it's a really weird title, but I like it. Dead by Breakfast. Yeah, what? It's a hotel story. There's a saying, it's not even a saying, it's just a thing that hotels do. It's called bed and breakfast. And I've never, done this, but you get to go to sleep in this hotel and they make you breakfast. And then you leave. That's kind of just the whole hotel thing. Or usually even like Airbnb-esque things before Airbnb even existed. So I said, well, let's make fun of that. Dead by Breakfast. And Creepshow did this, because they did Dead and Breakfast. And I remember, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, Dead by Breakfast. As in, you're dead by the time breakfast rolls around in the day. So, yeah, I think that's a really fun title, and you can go crazy with that idea there. For the cover, I think it could be like obviously a plate of breakfast, and again, we just had a food-related book. Or some creepy bed in a hotel room with a monster sleeping in it, kind of reminding me of It's Only a Nightmare. Who knows? Who knows? And for the plot, you can go crazy. It could be the Shining ripoff. It can be, basically that Creepshow episode. But I think the most simple idea is, Scream School-esque. Yeah. Everything's a fake out. It's just a horror, attraction, that turns out to be all in your head. It's not actually anything genuinely real. It could be one of those stories where it's all grounded to reality. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, maybe even it's kind of like Fright Camp, where it's specifically designed for horror fans, this hotel. Who knows? It already sounds like the Creepshow episode. But yeah, I like it. That would be our December 2001, if you forgot. And now we're moving on to the New Year's with, well, what else? Slappy New Year. Like I said, we're assuming Goose and Torlin didn't exist, so this would actually change that. That's what I would have put there, probably just a different Slappy story. But yeah, Slappy New Year for January 2001. So yeah, we're already a whole year ahead. This story, by the way, this would be book, I believe, 37. This story could have just been the same story from Horrorland. And if you've read it, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. No shit, it's just a Slappy story. What else do you expect? Obviously, for more scary twists, because that story wasn't very scary. And, hopefully fix some issues. But either way, just another Slappy story. If that's the time period, you already know what the cover art is. I think that could have worked just as well. And yeah, we're not bringing Goosebumps Gold or the novellas up again. So this is all from now on for the final 3 books we're about to bring up. Kind of 2. Just from my own mind. And now for books 38 and 39, because guess what I thought of? Your boy, he said, 2-parter. 2-parter before the final book of Goosebumps Series 2000. So what would this 2-parter be? Well, Sign has a track record for making some frickin' titles that are obviously based off pre-existing media. Night of Living Mummy, Night of Living Dead. It came from beneath the sink, it came from beneath the sea. You know what I'm saying? It happens. And Sign likes to do it. So I signed one more time, A Terror in Time. I have never read the book or seen the movie, but I know kind of what it's about. A Terror in Time is a play on A Wrinkle in Time. And I think it'd be an amazing 2-part of that. Is basically heads you lose on heroin with possibly aliens. Who knows? I bring up aliens because Series 2000 loves their alien shit. But yeah, this would be easily a giant sci-fi story once again, as well as a 2-parter once again. It could involve going back to medieval times and then going to the future. Stuff crazy like that. I just want to involve a time machine and changing of events and trying to undo your mistakes. Some kind of lesson of, let time go on. I don't know. Some kind of lesson can be shoved in there. But yeah, the plot could be one giant journey through time and have some monster chasing these kids through time. Some time traveler. You'd be pretty cool. It doesn't have to be similar to the actual, Wrinkle in Time plot. It can just be a play on that because it has time travel. But yeah, some crazy story. Could even take elements from The Beast 2. That horror book that nobody talks about. Simon, possibly. Simon, I don't know anymore. But yeah, that would have been a pretty cool two-parter, I feel. And I think it would be an epic way to almost end the series, because there's still one more. Book 40. What would Book 40 be? And I said, you know, Series 2000, it has a good handful of sequels. And I think it just makes sense to leave off on familiar territory. But familiar territory that people love. And Scholastic already knows what some of their best sellers are. Such as, apparently, Lost Legend, which is bullshit, Night of Living Dummy, Haunted Mask, or Calling All Creeps, baby. Yeah, Calling All Creeps too, but not called that. What would I title it? Redialing All Creeps. Come on. Redialing All Creeps. It's such a banger title, and it's epic. It's just an epic title. Now, what I would like from this is nothing to do with Ricky Beamer, because I think this is one issue that a lot of people don't really get. Don't ruin the perfect stories by continuing them on. Leave them be, because it's just not good. I don't like sequels 20 or 30 or even 40 years later. Remember Beetlejuice 2? It's not a bad movie. I think it's really good, on par with the first, but it was a giant gamble that it would be bad. And still, it was the 90s, so it was not too far off from the original book. In fact, the OG series, it was in the late OG series. This would be in the late series 2000. They're not too far off. But, you know, it's still like, I want to leave that story behind, because where we left off was a come back to a whole moment. Ricky Beamer, net ending. Yeah. So, this would just be another in-universe story involving the creeps. Of course, it would not hide the creeps for as long, probably, reveal them, who they are, 30 pages in, and have a new plot. You could expand the creeps' lore, give us backstory to what the creeps are, and maybe this one could be after the fact, and maybe you could even bring back Ricky Beamer, just don't make it directly about him. Maybe you don't even name drop him, and maybe he's in there, but Stein only knows. Maybe he's a creep and just never says, "Oh, I'm Ricky Beamer." Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they could take down the whole operation, whoever the main characters are, or character is. Maybe it has a different thing. Maybe it's involving a popular kid dealing with the creeps, and nobody believes him, and he starts to realize what it's like to be an unliked kid. Maybe something like that. That would have been a cool plot. Maybe he'll stop being a bully. Could have been about a bully. Reverse Calling All Creeps. That would have been fucking cool. That's all I just wanted to say. As for the cover art, I have no clue, but it could be involving maybe a house phone. Yeah. Really, it's just creeps phone. Come on, bring it back. We want the creeps to phone you again. That's just a staple of who they are. If not, maybe them sending out letters. It'd be so dumb. Or maybe a mailman creep, and all the letters say, "From creep to creep." Something goofy that you'd love, involving the creeps once again, with that beautiful illustration by Tim Jacobus. So yeah, that would be the end of Series 2000, I feel. And yeah, it doesn't have to be, a sequel. Ghost in the Mirror proved that we can leave off on new notes. Still familiar ideas, though. Because that book is amazing, but I decided, I want to leave off on that. We could have definitely gotten a Calling All Creeps sequel, at least somewhere in there. Don't take my word for it. This isn't like I sneaked into Scholastic's files and saw what they were planning back in 2000. I wasn't even alive, man. I was born in 2009, by the way. Anybody didn't know. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and tell me what you think about my takes down below or my ideas, and share your own. And I'll see you guys in the next one.